Today, we're exploring a centuries-old meat substitute from Asia. Whether you're a seasoned vegetarian, a curious foodie, or just looking to spice up your meals, stay tuned as we share the potential of this plant-based, protein-packed food.
I'm Professor Megan.
I'm Professor Susan, and we're
Your Nutrition Profs. We are registered dietitians and college professors who have taught more than 10,000 students about health and nutrition. We have answered a lot of questions about nutrition over the years.
Some questions we get asked every year, and some are rarely asked, but very interesting.
We are here to share our answers to these common and uncommon nutrition questions with you.
So bring your curiosity and let's get started. Welcome to our class.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another snack-isode.
Yay! I love it when we get to eat during an episode.
Me too. All right, today we're exploring an ancient plant-based meat alternative, seitan, and that's spelled Seitan.
I'm so glad we're doing this episode. I've seen it in the store, but I've never bought any to try at home until now.
So, you may be asking, listeners, what is seitan? It's a plant-based meat substitute that is often described as dense and somewhat chewy with a texture similar to meat or chicken. It's typically light to dark brown in color, and it can be shaped into many different forms: cubes, strips, patties, you name it.
It's super versatile, and it's described as having an umami flavor, but it can also take on the flavors that it's cooked with, like tofu or tempeh.
So let's define umami really quickly in case anyone's unfamiliar with it. Umami is one of the 5 basic tastes along with sour, salty, bitter, and sweet. Umami in Japanese means essence of deliciousness.
Oh, essence of deliciousness. I like that. You find umami flavor in meaty and savory foods, things like meat, broth, and mushrooms. It's also found in foods that are high in the amino acid glutamate, including monosodium glutamate, which you probably know better as MSG.
We often get asked about MSG, so stay tuned. We'll definitely do an episode on that soon.
Definitely. But back to seitan. Seitan by itself doesn't have much flavor, although some describe it as having the flavor and texture of chicken.
And if you're familiar with tofu, seitan is similar in many ways. They're both plant-based, versatile in cooking and texture, but apparently seitan is considered a better mimic to meat than tofu is. In fact, it's often called wheat meat here in the U.S.
I've seen that, wheat meat.
Me too.
It's called fu in Japan, manjin in China, or milgogi in Korea. But what's it made out of?
Gluten.
Gluten.
Seitan is made of gluten, and most people have heard of gluten. It's been all over social media for the last decade, but many may not know what it really is. Gluten is a mixture of 2 proteins, gliadin and glutenin, and is found in grains like wheat, barley, rye, and some others.
So in food, gluten helps provide structure and elasticity. In baked goods, it traps gases produced by yeast or other leavening agents like baking soda or baking powder, and this allows dough to rise. This increases volume and texture.
It also serves as a binding agent or glue that holds ingredients together, and it contributes to the chewiness of foods like bagels and crusts.
Gluten is separated from the starch in wheat, and that's what's used to make seitan. And we'll talk a little bit more about this process in a little bit.
So we mentioned in the intro that it's an ancient plant-based meat substitute. Where did it come from?
Well, seitan can reportedly be traced back to Buddhist monks in 6th century China, making it one of the oldest known meat substitutes.
Wow.
They created it by washing wheat flour dough repeatedly to remove the starch, leaving only the elastic, pliable gluten.
Some sources suggest that its popularity gradually spread across Asia to the Middle East and Europe via the Silk Road, but we really don't know for sure.
And the term seitan is a Japanese word, and it's believed to have been coined in 1961. Sei, S-E-I, means made or produced, and tan means protein. Or at least that's what the internet said.
The first commercially made seitan was produced in 1962. It was made by simmering raw wheat gluten in a broth made of water, soy sauce, a sea vegetable called kombu, and ginger. And it was imported to the Western world in 1969.
One of seitan's biggest claims to fame is that it's packed with protein. And it's plant-based, so it can be an excellent protein option for vegetarians and vegans.
Other popular alternative meat products are made from tofu and tempeh. Tofu has a smooth texture and is made from condensed, pressed soy milk, while tempeh is made from fermented soybeans.
Soy is a complete protein, meaning it contains all 9 of the essential amino acids. Essential means we have to get these amino acids from foods that we eat. All animal foods are complete proteins. They have all 9 of these essential amino acids. Most plant foods are not. They have fewer than 9.
Seitan is not a complete protein because, well, it's made from a plant, wheat. It lacks 2 of the 9 essential amino acids, but it's still really high in protein. Just 1 serving has 20 grams of protein, which is about the same as a 3-ounce serving of chicken or beef. The equivalent amount of tofu only has 8 grams.
So I guess this high level of protein is not too surprising since it's made out of gluten, and that's the main protein in wheat and most other grains.
Yeah, and according to the USDA, a 3-ounce serving of seitan is about 120 calories. Again, that 21 grams of protein, like we just said, very little fat or carbohydrate, only 1 gram of fiber. It's a good source of the mineral selenium, and it provides a very small amount of calcium and iron.
But unfortunately, it can be fairly high in sodium. So always check the labels on the prepackaged versions. The sodium can vary widely, but all pre-made versions likely provide significantly more sodium than homemade.
Okay, so seitan is a meat alternative. Does that mean you can use it in any recipe calling for meat? Well, it sure seems like it. A quick Google search for recipes using seitan had nearly 3.5 million hits.
It does seem to be pretty versatile. Some recommended uses include layered on sandwiches like deli meat, in ground form as a ground beef substitute, sliced into strips for fajitas or stir fry, or added to soups and stews. And you can even put it on a skewer like a kebab.
The most common form I've seen is ready-made cubes at the grocery store. I think you can also get it in powder form, from which you can use almost any way you wish. You can buy it plain or with flavors like bacon or sausage.
An even more common Google search, returning more than 12 million hits, was seitan recipes. These are recipes to actually make seitan, not recipes for what to use seitan in. And some seemed a little bit more complicated. Some were pretty straightforward.
Yeah, we found one simple recipe with only 4 ingredients: vital wheat gluten, salt, garlic powder, and water. This one is made with wheat gluten as its own ingredient. So once you mix and make a dough, it's really simple to just cook it, bake, steam, simmer, fry, however you'd like.
You can typically find vital wheat gluten in the cooking aisle of a grocery store. It's usually next to all the various types of flours. I mean, it's not technically a flour, it's a flour-like powder. It can be added to your bread dough to increase the protein content, and it will improve elasticity and chewiness. In fact, if you buy actual bread flour, it's basically all-purpose flour with additional gluten added.
And we found another seitan recipe, this one with only 3 ingredients: all-purpose flour, water, and broth. This one requires you to wash the dough yourself, so maybe a bit more authentic, but definitely more time-consuming.
I have no idea how to wash dough.
I know.
Of course, there are several recipes online with a whole host of ingredients, including added nutritional yeast for a more nutty or cheesy flavor. You can add soy sauce, broths, herbs for flavor. And I did find Vital Wheat Gluten in our grocery store, and it had its own recipe for seitan on the back of the package.
So once seitan is cooked and cooled completely, you can store it in the fridge for 3 to 4 days, and of course you can freeze it as well. Today we have a few pre-made seitan products to try. We have plain, chili lime flavored, prosciutto flavored, and chicken flavored.
Okay, but before we taste test, is there any reason why someone might want to avoid seitan?
Yes, because it's made out of gluten, those with celiac disease or gluten sensitivity should definitely avoid seitan.
It's estimated that 2 million people in the United States, or as many as 1 out of every 133, have celiac. And it's been suggested that up to 6% of the U.S. population may be gluten sensitive.
And globally, it's estimated that 1% of the population has celiac. We don't have good data on global gluten sensitivity prevalence, though. There's also some debate on what actually constitutes gluten sensitivity and how it's diagnosed.
But if gluten is an issue for you, definitely avoid any form of seitan.
We also mentioned that often high amounts of sodium are found in pre-prepared seitan products. And there are several populations who should limit their sodium intake, including those with high blood pressure, heart disease like congestive heart failure, kidney or liver disease.
So make sure to check the labels, or you can always make your own seitan, and that way you would have much better control over sodium levels. But let's take a look at some of our products.
Okay. So we have 2 products. One is a Blackbird chili lime seitan. It's about 13% sodium for one serving.
That's 13% of your daily intake.
And then the other one, we have the seitan cubes from Franklin Farms. That's 15%.
And I've got some plant-based chicken strips, and that's 35% of your daily sodium intake for a single serving. And we've got this deli slices that are prosciutto style, and they are 30% of your daily sodium intake in one serving. So as we said, the prepackaged seitan is definitely very high in sodium. So make sure you check them out.
All right. Well, I want to eat some food.
Let's try it.
So is this going to be your first time trying seitan, Susan?
I'm not really sure. I may have had it before, but I can't really remember. How about you?
I actually have, although at the time I didn't know it. I used to get these various vegetarian dishes at a local vegetarian restaurant here in town called Green that included wheat meat. At the time, I didn't know that that meant it was seitan. And so as I was doing research for this episode, it hit me. That was seitan that I was eating. And I have to say, I actually liked it better than dishes that I have there made with tofu.
Oh, I mean, I like tofu in some dishes.
I do too, but I liked this more.
I don't know. We'll see.
All right. So we have some here to try.
Okay. So we have 5 different types of seitan to try. So what do you want to try first?
Let's go with the cubed. Let's go with the cubed, the unflavored.
So this is supposedly unflavored, the cubed, and we fried it in a little bit of oil. And honestly, it looks like steak.
It kind of does look like steak and like small
brown
bits.
Cubed steaks.
Yeah.
So here we go.
I like it.
I think it's a little softer.
I was going to say
than meat. I can definitely taste the sodium.
I can too.
So these cubes, what do you think, Megan? They look a lot like meat.
They look like small, like little chunks of steak.
Mm-hmm. It doesn't look like steak on the inside, but
maybe processed steak.
Mm-hmm. Softer than meat.
Definitely softer.
I am getting a little of the umami flavor.
Definitely.
I'm getting some sodium flavor, salt flavor. It was 15% on the cube. So one serving is 15% of your daily intake and 13 grams of protein.
Third ingredient, soy sauce.
Oh.
And you can taste it.
Yeah, definitely taste it.
It's not bad.
No.
All right, let's try the chicken.
Let's try the chicken. This is 13% of your sodium intake and 14 grams of protein per serving. This is supposed to taste like chili lime. I'm getting a little citrus.
Me too. I can tell the flavoring on it. I like the texture. It's also kind of soft, but
it is. It reminds me really of shredded chicken.
Yeah, I really like it.
So I would totally eat this in a product
for sure.
And I was kind of concerned that I thought maybe it would have a little bit of an aftertaste, but I'm not noticing that. Mm-mm. Okay, so let's try the seitan. These are chicken strips. They look like French fries, but they're skinny chicken.
Like fajita chicken.
Yeah, that's a good way to say it. Let's try it. We air fried these. I am getting a chicken-like texture, and I say not bad.
Yeah, not bad. It'd be a little bit better with some seasoning, but that's okay.
Yeah, it's a little bit dry. That chicken strip and the chicken nugget that we've got, they're a combination of seitan and a soy-based product.
Yeah.
So they're not straight up seitan. They're a combo. All right, let's try the chicken nugget.
Okay.
Also air fried.
It tastes like McDonald's.
I'm not wild about it.
Same.
But it does taste like McDonald's.
It tastes just like a chicken nugget.
I can't tell the texture's the same as a McDonald's chicken McNugget. The flavor's pretty much the same. These are breaded, and then
they are breaded,
and
yeah.
then we air fried them.
And honestly, I don't know the last time I had McDonald's chicken nuggets, but it's exactly like what I would expect from a chicken-based frozen chicken nugget product.
Right. The only difference here is both of those chicken products, and these are chicken with additional soy product added. They're very high in sodium. They were the highest.
Yes. They
They were the highest ones. And protein-wise, though, they're also fairly high. Like we said, 16 grams of protein in a serving. So much higher than, some other, like something based on soy.
Yeah.
Only. Okay, so the last thing we're going to try, this is dry, raw. It's not cooked. I mean, I guess it was cooked somewhere else. But this is supposedly a deli meat slice that is supposed to taste like prosciutto or ham.
It kind of looks like a dark colored fruit roll up. Like a real thin.
It does.
It's not giving prosciutto.
I'm getting a lot of smoky. It smells really, really smoky. Okay, let's try it. I would say the texture is similar to prosciutto, a little bit denser.
It's got an aftertaste.
Oh, yeah, it does. My least favorite so far
Yeah, same.
is this deli slice of prosciutto ham.
But overall, I like it.
I was a little concerned. I was a little nervous about trying these, but I have to say that all of these were pretty good.
Yeah.
Most of the boxes that I purchased were between $3 and $5 for a few servings.
Yeah.
So it's less expensive than meat now,
Yeah.
than chicken or beef.
And of course, you can always try and make it yourself at home.
You can make it yourself at home from the Vital Wheat gluten if you can find it and put in whatever
Flavoring
you want. So I'm pleasantly surprised by seitan. And
Me too.
I would have it again.
Yeah. So thanks everyone for joining us today. This was a really interesting food to research.
It was. The history was really interesting to me. I had no idea it had been around since the 6th century, which is really cool. Well, we hope you give seitan a try. There are a lot of meat alternatives out there on the market, and maybe seitan is right for you.
So let us know what other unusual foods we should discuss on the pod. Send us an email or contact us on Instagram. Thank you so much for listening. Join us next time when we'll answer the question, should I take a magnesium supplement? Is magnesium really a magical cure? We hope you join us.
We do. Class dismissed. We hope you enjoyed this episode. You can find the show notes and a list of sources on our website, yournutritionprofs.com.
Your homework is to follow us at yournutritionprofs on Instagram and to listen to our next episode. You can listen on Amazon Prime, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or anywhere podcasts are found. We'd appreciate it if you'd like us, write a review, subscribe, and invite your family and friends to join us too.
If you have a nutrition or health question you'd like answered, let us know. We may do a show about it. Send an email to yournutritionprofs@gmail.com or click on the Contact Us page on our website.
Thanks to Brian Pittman for creating our artwork. You can find him on Instagram at BrianPittman77. See you next time.